Hey, how's it going? It's Jordan Oloomi here, and you're watching another episode of Oloominating the Word. Well, this week's episode, I believe, is a very relevant topic. We're going to be talking about dealing with conflict. Now, conflict is bound to happen no matter what circumstance you're in. You're going to hurt other people, people are going to hurt you, you're going to have disagreements with people. Conflict's going to arise. But the question is, how do we respond to this conflict, and what is a godly approach? Now, the world has a way of dealing with conflict, and Jesus has a way of dealing with conflict, and they are completely different. Jesus has a radical approach. So let's read and see what Jesus has to say. If you have your Bibles, you can turn to Matthew chapter 18, and it says this in verse 15. If your brother or sister sins, go and point out their flaw, just between you two. If they listen to you, you have won them over. Now, this is the important part, that if your brother or sister sins against you, you have a responsibility to go speak with that person. I know that's not the easiest thing to do. It's easier to just kind of brush it off or act like it didn't happen. But if you're truthful to yourself, a lot of times when people hurt you, it hits a lot deeper than you think. And if you're not careful, that hurt can create strongholds in your heart. So Jesus says, hey, right away, you need to go and deal with your brother or sister. In Matthew chapter 5, he even says, if you have anger in your heart, before you even worship God, go, leave your offering at the altar, and go deal with your relationship with your friend. So here's the uncomfortable part. Jesus says, if you are hurt, the responsibility is on you to deal with your hurt. So that's the first aspect. The second aspect is we have to deal with it just with the person that has hurt us. Nobody else. Nobody else is as invested into your conflict than you and the person that hurt you. So many times, if we're honest, our sinful tendencies want us to go and talk to somebody else about our conflict. Now, as Christians, we'll say things like, oh, I'm just seeking counsel, or I'm just trying to vent, or I have a prayer request. When we do that and we talk to somebody that has nothing to do with our situation about the hurt, we slander the people that hurt us. Now, I know what you're thinking. What if I go to that person and they don't agree with me? Well, that's what this passage continues to say. It says in the following verses, if they do not listen to you, take one or two along with you, so that every matter may be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. So, if that person doesn't agree with you, then you can bring somebody in, but don't isolate and talk about this person behind their back. Bring them all into the same situation so everybody's point of view can be heard. If that doesn't work, then bring it to a larger body, bring it to your church. And if still that doesn't work, well then you're at the place where you probably need to cut off relational ties with that person. That doesn't mean don't forgive them, but that just means you probably are going to need to distance yourself and allow God to deal with the situation. Finally, this passage ends like this. It says, truly, I tell you, if 2 or more on earth agree about anything they ask for, it will be done for them by their Father in heaven. For if 2 or 3 gather in my name, I am with them. Oftentimes we like to say this while we're worshiping. We're saying, if there's 2 or 3 people in this place gathered, God's with us. And the truth is, not only does there need to be 2 or 3 gathered together, but we have to be in agreement. That's what this passage is about. And when we are in agreement, when we are healthy and we are together and we are unified, the Spirit of God is with us. So I hope you're blessed by this teaching. It's a hard word, but I hope that this will shed light and teach you how to deal with conflict in the future. This has been another episode of Oloominating the Word. I hope you're blessed. God bless.